FNCS qualifiers are officially over, and in today's video I'm going to be going over every single team that qualified, every team that didn't qualify, the teams that are in lower bracket, upper bracket, every single thing to do with FNCS, and going into FNCS heats now. Real quick before video starts though, we act a month into the summer. I can't thank you guys enough for this goal, but we're not done yet. Our new goal now is getting that YouTube plaque officially 50% of the shop. Fitness support me even more. I've been using my code recently too. The numbers have gone up on that so much, so thank you guys all so much for the love and support. You guys are all like family to me. None of you guys are fans. We're building something truly special here, and I just want to thank you guys all so much. I'm sorry for that little yap session right there, but I just really wanted to show my appreciation for all the support. Recently, these scariest off spawn teams, but we already knew that from last season, so I don't know why anybody would even contest them. Let's talk about one of the next biggest teams, Mongrel and Mr. Savage. They are currently in lower bracket. I have a leaderboard by Kinch Analytics that shows the exact placements of every single team and where they're actually in for FNCS and the series points leaderboard. And to be able to qualify into the upper bracket, you have to place in the top 50, and unfortunately Mongrel and Mr. Savage are in 59th with 550 series points. They got 250 series points in the first FNCS qualifier and then 300 in the second, so they are just barely outside of that top 50 mark. So they are going to have to go from lower bracket into upper bracket into FNCS grand finals. Do I think this team is going to be able to make grands? Absolutely. This team is honestly, it could be a top 15 to top 20 team for me in grand finals. It really just depends how their qualifiers go. When I make my prediction video later on this week or maybe next week even, I'm not 100% sure where I'm going to put them yet. No doubt think this team would be able to make grand finals. If they don't make grand finals, and it would be more of a surprise than if they did end up making it. Mongrel and Mr. Savage look insane right now. Mr. Savage looks like he could be entering like his 5th prime right now, and Mongrel has been improving so much over the weeks. If they can figure out a good storm surge strategy, because on EU, I remember when I was watching them play on EU in lower bracket, the reason why they didn't qualify last season was because their storm surge was just so bad. So hopefully they're able to work a little bit closer with Blood X over these next couple weeks to prepare. And another thing about this team is they only have one finals lobby experience all season long, and because they only were able to make one duo cash cup finals, they haven't qualified for the other 2 duo cash cup finals, and they didn't qualify for either of the FNCS weekly finals. So I am a little worried about that, but hopefully they're able to grind a bunch of scrims, and hopefully they're able to make it into this next week's duo cash cup finals so they can just get some more experience playing stacked end games. Let's go over the series points leaderboard now and go over all of the big teams that are currently in upper bracket. And let me just tell you, there is a lot of big teams in upper bracket. In first place, the team that did the best throughout all of the FNCS qualifiers was Clicks in Vino. They finished in first place of finals in week 1 and then 5th place of finals in week 2. So this is the first place and currently technically the best team in the region. Second place, we had Batman, Booga, and Rapid, and trust me, I'm going to be talking about these guys a lot coming up because this has been the surprise team of the season, the team that has came out of nowhere, and a team that could be a top 3 lock on this season's grand finals if they're uncontested. Third place, we have Taste and Yamzo. Fourth place, Booga and Aviv. Fifth place, Pink and Miro. Sixth place, Rituals and Reet. 7th place, Dukes and Speaks. 8th place, Muzz and Trashy. 9th place, Mason and Hound. And then 10th place, Shadow and Virgo. So that is basically the top 10 in the series points leaderboard. If you don't know what the series points leaderboard is, it is basically just all of the teams that have been doing the best so far throughout FNCS. There is a lot of other big names though, and I want to go over some of those people as well. So we have peterbot and Pollo in 22nd. So after not being able to qualify into the week 1 finals, they ended up still making upper bracket and finishing in 22nd. Upper bracket of FNCS heats is going to be so stacked, it's not even funny. 23rd place, we have Kanata and Cooper. 27th place, Bucky and Okus. I'm really hoping Bucky and Okus don't contest Batman, Booga, and Rapid, because I mean, last time they got 5-1 off spawn and they ended up finishing almost dead last, while Batman Booga finished in like 5th place. So for Bucky and Okus' sake, I would really try to find a new drop spot. Scented and Walkers finished in 44th, so it's super cool to be able to see Scented be able to make upper bracket. Someone that you might not be expecting in upper bracket, but they are going to be there. We have Pilot in upper bracket finishing in 47th place. You know, Booga is absolutely terrified that Pilot is in upper bracket now, so hopefully he's able to show out for some of the older players out there and be able to qualify into grand finals. But those are pretty much all of the big teams that are in upper bracket. Now let's go over some of the big teams that are unfortunately in lower bracket. Starting off with, in 55th place, we have Acorn and Cold. After having probably the most disappointing FNCS qualifiers up in this point into their duo career, they finished in 11th place in FNCS week 1 finals, and then then they finished in 739th and not even making finals. They only got like 80 points in 10 games in round 3. It was insane. They were just not on their A game at all. But in 59th, obviously, once again, we had Mongrel and Mr. Savage. The OCE boys of Alex and Worthy finished in 71st place, so they are going to be in heats. They are not in upper bracket. This team honestly didn't place too bad. They finished in 34th week 1 and then 248th in week 2. They did have a little bit more of a disappointing week 2 than week 1, and if they were able to place a little higher, they would no doubt be higher up on this list. But at least they are still in FNCS heats, and we are all hoping that they are going to be able to make FNCS grand finals. And then the rest of lowers honestly isn't that stacked. If you're wondering where your favorite team is, if I haven't mentioned them yet, they are most likely in lower bracket unless they are Asian Jeff and Cypher PK. Those were pretty much the only two teams that weren't able to qualify for heats, but pretty much every single other big name team is in heats at least. Can Clix and Vino win FNCS in probably the most stacked FNCS in Fortnite history? Obviously, this is probably Clix's best chance to ever be able to win an FNCS, but unfortunately for him, it is in the exact same season that is probably going to be the most competitive and most difficult FNCS that Fortnite has ever had. We have so many big name teams from EU. We have arguably 3 of the greatest players of all time, all in the same region in Booga, Miro, and Tayson, and they all are looking absolutely insane. So if Clix is able to win this season's FNCS, I think it will go down as probably one of the best FNCS wins in Fortnite history. Whoever is able to win the season in general is going to have that forever on their resume of winning probably the most stacked FNCS Fortnite is ever going to have. Do I think Clix will be able to win the season's FNCS? I 100% think that he is in the running to win it. A lot of their strategy though is playing high ground, and there is another very dominant high ground team on the region though, unfortunately for him, and peterbot and Poyo. We saw them actually fight head to head yesterday in qualifiers, and the way that it went is I'm pretty sure each of them killed one of their teammates and then they both just ended up dying. So for a stacked FNCS lobby like qualifiers for FNCS upper bracket, and especially going into grand finals, since I have no doubt both of these teams will be able to make grands, one of them is going to have to be able to switch up their strategy to win, because both of these teams are just so mechanically gifted that if they're both going for high ground, it is just going to be an absolute grief fest up there. I know both of those teams are going to have some insane strategies going forwards though, and if you look at FNCS 2 seasons ago when Clix was just psychoing height every single game, in the season that peterbot didn't have Grim Gate coin but he ended up still placing second in grand finals, peterbot basically just waited until Clix absolutely psychoed whoever was on height, and then whenever they were fighting, peterbot would go front side and be able to take it from him. So it's just going to go down to who is a smarter team and who is preparing better for FNCS grand finals, and I am super excited to watch that. Let's talk about one of the most fun stories of the season though, and that is the come up of Batman, Booga, and Rapid. I saw some people in my comment section saying they didn't even know Batman Booga was a different person than Booga, so that's pretty insane to me. But I just want to go over some of their placements recently, and especially their recent placements within even just the past week. They got 3rd in FNCS finals yesterday, 2nd place in FNCS round 3, 1st place in FNCS round 2, 3rd place in FNCS round 1, 5th place in the FNCS qualifier before that, 1st place in the Duo Cash Cup, 2nd place in the Duo Cash Cup Opens, 1st place in the Duo Cash Cup, and another 1st place in the Duo Cash Cup, and that is coming off of them getting 8th place in FNCS Grand Finals last season. This team has just slowly been on a rise recently, and they look like a no doubt top 3 team on the region right now. And if Batman Booga is able to win the most stacked FNCS of all time, that is going to do so much for his brand, and he is going to be such a big name after this season. All right, now let me go over my top 5 teams going into FNCS heats now. These are currently my top 5 best teams in the world. This is not my prediction or anything. These are just the top 5 teams I think are the best right now in the game on NA. In 5th place, I have Booga and Aviv. They've just been placing so consistent all season. Crazy to see Booga still at the top of leaderboards. 4th place, I have peterbot and Poyo. They just recently came back, proving that they are still one of the best teams on the region, and I think they will no doubt do insane this FNCS still. 3rd place, I have Clix and Vino, one of the most consistent FNCS teams this season, and they just recently got a 5th place in the Duo Cash Cup. This could be Clix's season. 2nd place, by far the most underrated team of all season, Batman, Booga, and Rapid. They have found their way onto this list of just all-time greats. And then 1st place, I have Tayson and Niamzo. This is still my FNCS favorite, still the team that I believe in the best, and still the team that I think is currently the best team in the world. Other than that though, that is pretty much off today's video. I know this was a little bit of a longer video than I normally make, but I basically just want to recap every single thing that happened from FNCS qualifiers now. We do have about a 3-week break until FNCS Grand Finals, so I'm going to try my best to keep the hype going for FNCS and keep making content in between that. But if you guys are new to the channel, remember, if you want to help me be able to win FNCS, please just subscribe to the channel if you guys are new, because we are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers and get that YouTube plaque. Use code KDOG in the Fortnite item shop if you want to support me even more. Thank you guys all so much for the love and support all season. Fortnite's just just about to get even crazier now. Hope you guys are excited for it. Thank God for another day, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.